Okay, greetings, dear Libra. This is you. Over here, this is Tarot Illumination, and this is your September report for 2019. Okay, so it's going to be a mixture of things. We're going to work on some cards, okay, in a little bit, and I'll show you about that. Cards are already pre-shuffled in advance, but I'm going to go to the last second so that you're a witness. No jumpers, no flyers, no reversals, but we're going to have a couple of oracles at the end. You'll see shortly. Hold on. We're going to use the Tarot Illumination Crucible spread. It's on the understanding that there's you, Libra. There are a significant number of people in your life, and you own the relationships. There's you, a significant other, and the thing between you has a separate life of its own. It's called a relationship, and it has its own identity, mission, and purpose. And I'm using this spread now because, well, I use it anyway for relationships, but I'm using it for the reports now because so much of the context of the way people's lives and evolved, evolutions and things happen in the context of relationship. And it's not a coincidence. Most of our most advanced learning and growth and evolution happens in the context of relationships. Sometimes that's the only way we can learn. So there's more. If you want more, check the links below and all that, and we can sort something out. Meanwhile, I'm going to share with you the Tarot Illumination Astro Doodle for Libra to help add a little bit of texture and context for the reading, okay? I'm going to pretty much fly through it. I use all this information in personal readings, but for now, I'm just going to focus on the yellow highlights, the lunar pattern, okay? So for Libra, well, if it's for everybody, okay, this is for everybody, and you'll see how it looks for you, Libra, shortly. At the very beginning of the month, we have the new moon in Virgo energy, okay? It's a huge 5-planet stellium, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, okay, all piled up there, August 30th, 31st, and rolls into September 1st, even though it's not official, okay? It's just so big that the impact is going to be there anyway. Excuse me. We have the full moon in Pisces, okay, around the 13th and the 14th, right in the middle of the month. And we have the new moon in Libra. You know what that means, Libra? For you, it's your birthday season coming up, right at the very end of the month. Now, the sun actually goes into Libra over here on the 24th, but that's more like a detail here. Forget the rest of this for now. Okay, let's go to you over here. Have a look. See, this is for you. This is your astrodoodle. Put you on the horizon over here. That's your area. Libra, first house. There's your 7th house, your 5th, your 4th. So let's go to the key points that I pulled out here. It's not a real chart. It's an astrodoodle, and it's a compilation of multiple highlights that I pick out for the month. Over here at the beginning, this is the Virgo new moon, okay? It's right over here, slammed into the 12th house. So this could be a very uncomfortable time period for you. This too shall pass, of course. But often when you come after you've lived through a whole year-long cycle and you come to this point again just before you start entering your new birthday cycle and everything lights up and picks up again, when you get to this point, it can feel very sickly sometimes. It's like the end. It's like the end of the movie. It's like, the movie is over, and it's that feeling like, well, the movie's over. All the good things happened, all the bad things happened, and then that's it. Okay? And then you have to start all over again. And if you can see here, there's a ton of energy piled up here in the 12th house. So that's going to amplify everything that's good, everything that's not so sweet, because sometimes they call this the house of self-undoing, okay? It's also the house of divinity. It's the house of heaven. It's the house of spirit. It's the house of universal love. It's ruled by Neptune. So Neptune rules your 12th house. So it's sometimes very hard to deal with health issues in that regard. Now, watch this. Over here, the full moon, okay? 13th and the 14th. Moon's going to be in Pisces over here in your 6th house, also to do with health, habits, and like day-to-day activities, chores, maybe like a day job or something. But I think of it in terms of health, healthy habits, and the refinements, clarifying, cleansing, and purifying your habits in life so that you can live a healthy life. So with the strong, very strong emphasis here on the health axis, okay, the whole issue of health might come up to you. And the health could be in any way, shape, or form, like relationships, physical health, mental health, financial health, anything to do with like self-worth, self-undoing, literally just unhealthy habits. Are you self-sabotaging? Do you have any addictions of any kind? Are you in an abusive relationship? Are you behaving improperly in love and relationship? Anyway, it'll come to a culmination over here around the full moon, and have a much clearer idea of what's not working for you, and then what are you going to do about it? That's going to take you all the way over here to the Libra new moon. Then you can start to really get your act together. Okay, so this axis here about health is very challenged. Okay, the Jupiter in Sagittarius here is forming a T-square on it, so that's not really helping. The sweet thing is, though, that all the challenges here are also supported by this strong grand Earth trine over here. So that helps out, okay? So no matter how painful this might be for you, you will get through, okay? Let's move on. Let's go straight to this. Okay, so I'm going to use the crucible spread. You'll see that in a minute. A crucible is a bowl type structure that's designed to withstand intense alchemical pressures in a laboratory, which is just like what happens in a human relationship, you know? And it's a bowl structure. So you'll see in a moment when it comes out, it's like a huge potted plant, and you own it. And what is the nature of the big bowl in which your relationship is living? You guys own this thing, okay? And it takes maintenance, it takes work, it takes awareness, it takes acknowledgement that it even exists at all. And at all times, you are radiating energy, and other people are radiating energy. So I'm not focusing this on just one specific person. It's all about you, but we're taking account very significant other people in your life, perhaps a spouse, or perhaps a mate, a partner, something like that. So you'll see in just a moment. Now, in all relationships, we're always intimating and separating, as you know, just like the waves of the ocean. Let me cut this up, all right? So bless the deck, bless every single card. Bless you, Libra. Thank you for being here. Bless the channel, bless our illumination, all the cameras and lights and electricity and the platform and everything that we can do this at all. Let me check in with you because I keep forgetting. Hold on. I don't want to miss this. Hello, Libra. This is Tarot Illumination. I'll try to catch you at the beginning now. Sometimes I've forgotten. I only say hello at the very end. But we'll check in later, okay? Everything's going to be okay, all right? Just play that song and remind yourself. Everything's going to be okay. All right, here we go. Now, I just cut it up, right? So we're ready to roll. What are you radiating, okay? Think of this as a smartphone. What are you radiating? You're always transmitting and receiving energy, including love, the healing power of love, or anything else. Okay, over here, what about a significant other? What are they radiating? What are you radiating deep down? What are they radiating deep down at the very core of the relationship itself? In astrology, this would be like a composite, okay, a chart, for example. Over here, here is the crucible, all right? It looks like a bowl, and everything happens inside of this, okay? As you intimate and separate, as you're constantly diving into intimacy and splooshing around and coming out again and then diving back in again. So what is the nature of this? Is it fixed? Is it wobbly? Is it stable? Is it leaky? Is it cracked? Does it need maintenance? Is it being well maintained? Okay. Think of it as a potted plant. What is growing here? Okay. Now, all of this is surrounded by energy. All of this, I think of it as the weather. I think of it as the planets, but it's also anything out there that influences you. Okay, Libra? So we have the Four of Cups. So this matches, I mean, it's not maybe a card that you would want to see, but it matches what I would expect to see everything over here anyway. Okay, you might be really feeling in the doldrums. This is the kind of energy you might feel where it's like, what's the point in getting up in the morning? You know, I've done everything I can. I've been everything I can. I'm the best person I can be, and life still sucks to some degree, somewhere, somehow or other. Why? Why me? What am I doing wrong? Where did I go wrong? How did I miss out? If only I'd done this or that or that. If only they had been this way or that way or the other way. Poor me, poor me, poor me. Okay? But of course, you still have the little Ace of Cups out there. It's a miniature Ace of Cups. It's waiting for you, but it requires an attitude adjustment. I'm not telling you how to live your life, Libra. You tend to be very harmonious and balanced, always seeking the diplomatic solution, but sometimes that's to your self-undoing, okay? Maybe it's time to realize that it's okay to like look at things from a broader perspective as opposed to having to be the great harmonizer. So let's just say, hey, wake up, wake up. It's okay, Libra. The love is there, but we have to have an attitude adjustment. Remember, energy flows where attention goes. And if all your energy is focused right now on what sucks, because a lot of stuff really just sucks, just admit it. If you're going through that 12th house energy, it's not the end of the world. Yes, it's good to be aware of that, but you're going to be okay again, okay? You're going to be okay again, okay? What a way to say it. Okay, anyway, what are you radiating here? Okay, so you're obviously deep in the thick of it. My feeling is that it's coming from more from the mental aspect. You might be perceiving and seeing your life almost exactly the way I was trying to describe it earlier over here. Again, referring to this 12th house, it's such a huge emphasis on this part of your life right now. And it might just not be very comfortable for you. And even when it comes to the full moon, frankly, it might be more uncomfortable because there's still going to be a bunch of planets here, but now the moon is over here. So it's going to amplify things even more, and it's in stressful alignment. This thing is going on all month, more or less, on and off to some degree, but it's really going to be amplified at this particular date here, the very beginning of the month and the middle of the month, okay? So please be aware of that. And it might be, you might be first, like overall, you might be feeling it just like deep into some sort of low-grade depression and doldrums, but in your head and the rest of your body, it might be feeling like multiple stressors. It's not the end of the world. It's just that part of it is part of this indicates a strategy about simply having to get through. You just have to get through this month. I'm just doing whatever I can, whatever I have to do to get through the month. I know I've got a lot of issues. I know I've got a lot of problems. It's cumulative. It's stuff that's piled up since childhood, lifetimes, or even the last few years. Remember, Libra, you're one of the signs that's under heavy stress from the Pluto-Saturn alignment, okay? Let me point that out over here. You see this thing here on your cute little astrodoodle? This is very stressful for you, even though it's combined with a very nutritious grand Earth trine. It's in a hard square to you. This is a hard square. I haven't marked it here. But this has been putting a lot of pressure on the foundations of your life, home, family, literally the home, the family, the place where you sleep, the place where you have security, the place often where relationships are conducted most intimately, even with yourself, here at the level of the home. And with this much pressure in hard anchored to you, and it's unrelenting, unchanging pressure. It's like the reality check police are just squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And it could be literally just driving you nuts. Like every time you solve a problem, two more come up. Solve two problems, four more come up. Like, what the bleep? How rude. So you end up constantly having to feel as though you're fighting your way through life. As soon as you solve one problem, another one just amplifies, and you're constantly having to walk through a minefield. Okay? And sometimes it's so scary that you just don't want to even acknowledge it. You just like, I'm just going to keep going anyway. And if I end up blown up, well, so what? So over here, what about the other? Okay. Oh dear. Okay, it's not, gosh, it's not the end of the world, but with the Cups card here, my feeling at Libra, you might be relating to someone who's going through some personal grief, tragedy of their own. Okay, it looks like you've got your own here, and they've got their own over here, but this is happening in the context of relationship. Okay, now this is not a couple's reading. Okay, it's all about you, but we're allowing for your co-star over here, somebody of significance over here, and because whoever they are, look at it this way. In other words, let's blame the planets, okay? Whoever they are, whatever this is, okay? Their chart might look like this, or 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 this. But wherever these certain stress points are happening, that's where they're going to be feeling it, somewhere in their chart too. And perhaps they're feeling it in the context of emotional pain grief, tragedy, suffering, perhaps deep, deep down, just in the way you're feeling things deep, deep down because of the Pluto Saturn stressors and the heavy pressure on there. It's a lot of pressure for you, Libra, okay? So my feeling is you're dealing with someone else who's going through their own version of the same thing, but it's totally their storyline. And for them, in the context of you and a relationship with you, it looks like this for them. Okay, now they might be like they might have a completely different auric energy in relation to someone else. Okay, someone or something else. But with you, in the context of the relationship, there's something that is, let's just say, has an element of tragedy that goes with it. There's obviously a lot of love here, but there's obviously love lost. And there is love on the other side, but it looks like it's verging more towards platonic and sweet and innocent, perhaps from a salvage operation that's going to happen over a long period of time here. Again, the journey continues for them, just like the journey continues for you. Okay, you're still moving, they're still moving. And it's just that they're caught up in the energy of what's not working, just like you are caught up in what is not working. It's okay. It's okay. It's perfectly natural. We go through these cycles, okay? So to me, it looks like there's you living your life. Doopy doopy doo. You've got life, love, and relationship. Here's Libra being Libra, someone else being someone else. And in the context, you're living your life. And let's say you own this thing in the relationship. You've been intimating and separating. You've got coming and going. I love you. I love you. I take you for advantage. You take me for advantage, but I still love you. I love you. I take you for advantage, but it goes up and down. It's waves. Sometimes you're on a high, you're on a low. They're on a high, you're on a low. And sometimes you're up there, sometimes you're both down there. Well, this is one of the situations where I have a feeling you're both like way off over here. Even though you might have all the trimmings and appearances of love and relationship, there's obviously something pretty sad. Not sad, but like almost like tragic, painful, that nobody really wants to talk about. So there might be a feeling of this. I can't make the hearts any smaller here on this stage, so I'm putting them as far away as I can. That's as far as away they can be and still visible. Okay, so it's a little bit, it's a little bit. It, it's time for like handkerchiefs and tissues here. Okay, if we're honest about it. What about deep down inside of you? Okay, Okay, well, with the Emperor here, my feeling is that there's a deep, deep wish that you could be the boss of it all and just make everything work out the way you want it to be for you right now. So it could work so that you wouldn't have to deal with this or this or this, and that they wouldn't have to deal with this or this or this, because they would definitely be picking up whatever sadness and traumas and challenges you're dealing with, and that could compound whatever else is happening in their own life as well, which might be nothing to do with you. I mean, we all have lives, and we interact with many people in life, okay? But in this context, we're looking at maybe one or two particular people. And so what can often happen is we resort to these, default settings that I would call this, which everybody has, where you end up kind of wanting to be like a dictator, like authoritarian ruler, or like the indisputable, irrefutable boss of all things, where all you have to do is issue commands and everything happens according to your will. It would be really nice to have that and be that way. Of course, it's a very limited way in which to conduct life and an experiment. The beauty of this card is that when it's benevolent, there's almost nothing more satisfying and enjoyable than living under the umbrella of a benevolent dictator. Okay? But it all depends on mood. What happens if the benevolent dictator gets in a bad mood? Then you get the malevolent dictator. And you know what that leads to? World War III, World War I, World War II, all that kind of energy, despotism. We don't need that. So there's a lot of power associated with this card, and it might be the power of frustration that's being held inside of you that's looking to release and enjoy later in the month when the Libra season kicks in. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get to my time where I can be the boss of me and start my life over again properly. That's probably like a deep yearning inside of you. It doesn't look like you're going to be mean and malevolent about it. It's just like deep down, I just want to get back to what works so I can feel like I'm in charge. I'm the boss of my life anymore, and I don't have to live with all this. Let's just say misery. Let's just put it. This could easily translate into a lot of very kind of subliminal, low-level misery. Maybe you are crying out loud. Maybe it's just sometimes this could be depression. This could be like someone who is just constantly on the verge of crying and they don't know why, and they're having to constantly sniff into a box of tissues and things, and they just can't figure it out. It's just too much. I understand, okay, Libra, I understand. And I'm sure your loved ones understand too. I don't think anyone's taking it personally. These things happen, okay? What about the other, okay? My feeling is that there is no ill will here at all. My feeling is deep down, they've only ever loved, they've only ever wanted the best for you, for themselves, and for the relationship. And that's all it's ever been. That's all they've ever done. And they know what it's like to love and be loved. Okay? They know what happiness is. They understand. They have a definition of happiness. They have a definition of wealth. And my feeling is in their context, uh, happiness is their definition of wealth. Happiness in heart energy, in love energy, at the core, at the very deep core. It's not necessarily to do with having a mansion or a secure day job or some kind of, guaranteed trust fund baby situation. No, this is about being happy deep in the pit of their soul. It's what they wanted, it's what they wished for, it's what they had, it's what they have, and it's probably what they still want to have. But obviously, it's deep in jeopardy right now. Okay? They're not, it's nothing to do, it's not like it's your fault or anything. It's not like they're blaming any lack of happiness on you or the relationship or anything. It's just what I would say circumstantial. Okay, it's literally a consequence of people living their lives. You living your life, they're living their life, and in the context of this in particular, if there's one particular person where this is resonating with you, Libra, then that would be what we're talking about here. Okay. So there's no malevolence, there's no blame, there's only love here. There's only love for you ever intended, love for the relationship, love for themselves. It's only ever come from love, even if there's a lot of pain and suffering at the moment for you, Libra, even if it's very hidden. Let's say you're not talking about it. Okay, let's have a look at the core here. Okay, so with the death card here, we're looking at a certain kind of inevitability. Let's just face it. I think we're going to the Pluto and Saturn stuff over here in Capricorn. I'm sounding very somber at the moment because this whole reading is feeling very somber to me, very sobering. Okay, I'm thinking of this energy over here, the Pluto Saturn thing in Capricorn. It just looks like a little squiggle on my doodle here, but it's very heavy, very serious energy. It's unrelenting. It's been going on for years. We still have a few more years to go with Pluto and at least another year with Saturn, okay? So this is not going away anytime soon. And it's so deep, and because it's to do with Pluto, it's about transformation, deep, deep, deep transformation. So I think what's happening here is at the very core of your life, your world, your relationship, your home, your family, there are deep, profound, transformational changes, irreversible changes that are happening that might feel like, death by 1,000 paper cuts. And there's no going back. It's nature's actually working for you to help you evolve and grow and mature and blossom and advance in your own spiritual evolution, okay? It's just that sometimes growth happens through challenge, growth through pain, growth through suffering, uh, because we have to work at it, okay? In other words, if you're not a trust fund baby and you have to do something every day to, um, you know, to activate your life, to get your life to actually happen, then you might be feeling very frustrated. I'm doing this, this, and this, and this, but that, and that, and that is happening. It's almost like it's tragic. Wait a minute, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong, Libra. You're living your life. To me, it looks like you're living your life with loving deepest loving intentions, and that is being reflected back to you. It's just not that the storyline isn't working out the way you might have had in mind perhaps years ago. So this deep shift of transformational, irreversible, transformational, I think of it as transformational energy healing. Okay, so it's good for you. It ultimately will take you to new lands, new horizons, new landscapes in terms of how you perceive your home life, your family, your loved ones in the context of home. Let's have a look. What's growing here? Okay, so with the Page of Swords, my feeling is that it's at a point where you might feel that you have to speak up soon about all this stuff that's happening. Maybe now is not the time. Maybe in your own Libra season, which is coming up pretty soon, you might feel strong enough after you've uh, let's say, assimilated all this energy and understood what this means, because this might be really uncomfortable reading for you, and it might take you the whole month to get through this and understand and fully assimilate it and to see what it really means for you. But I think towards the end of the month, what'll happen is you will grow and grow and grow to the point where, through, let's say, the pressure of tectonic plates, that I talk about that a lot, tectonic plates over here, that's happening at the very foundations of your life. It puts a lot of pressure over here too. Okay, you got Jupiter and Sagittarius over here in this place of communications. So you might be coming under a lot of increasing pressure to speak your mind, speak your truth, call out the truth. Maybe just very, very gently, little whispers here and there, like let others know, let it be known to your loved ones, to the world around you, that you're actually struggling with some of this, and you need to speak it out. You don't even know what it is. You don't even know how to define it. You might not even have language for it. But I think what's happening is at the deep soul level, you might be pressured to speak up and, let's say, speak out some truths. It might not be uncomfortable, uh, because of this over here, it might be like, gosh, I wish I didn't have to say this, but that's the kind of conversation I'm looking at. Hold on. Does that make sense to you, Libra? Can you see the way the pressure's going here? It's like squeezing, squeezing, and squeezing, and squeezing. And because you're the diplomat, you get pushed to the point where you don't go into like a rage or anything. You just kind of go like, it's almost like, excuse me, honey, can I tell you something? I've kept this bottled up for a long time, and I don't know how to say this, but I have to say something. Dot, 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 and then you fill in the blanks. That's what I'm feeling here, okay? All right, so remember, this is seasonal thing. This is just a 1 month reading, okay? I'm going to pull up an oracle for you. This is the Romance Angels deck, so it'll have some sort of, uh, let's say, tangential type message for you regarding love and relationship in particular. And it might be referring to this, or it might refer to something else in your life, in your world. Okay, I'm just going to tuck this up so we have a little bit more room here. We can do this better. So, I love this deck. Just trust the process, and we'll pick something out here for you, and then we're just going to do a little improvised interpretation, and then we're going to read from the book, see what comes up for you. Okay, so here you go. It's just going to be one card. Bless the whole deck, bless every card, but we need yours. There it is. Okay, here we go. It says, please keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations, okay? So can you see the characters here? Let's pretend you're putting a brave face on your life and your world, and you're being classic diplomatic Libra as if nothing's wrong, and you're taking it upon yourself to harmonize and balance things out, okay? Even though there's very clearly some serious issues going on here. And so everybody might be conducting themselves in a kind of a, let's say, a graceful manner, and yet there are other things going on like behind the scenes that really need to be spoken up. There are one, two, where's the other one? I know there's another one in here. Anyway, there's at least 2 romance angels in here helping to guide you through this. All right. Give me a second. All right. So no matter the context, like whether you're brand new with someone or you've been together for 20 years, uh, let's just keep this wide open. And maybe it's not even a romantic relationship. Maybe it's a really important business relationship or something. Roommates, or whatever it might be, something very specific one-on-one. The romance angels sent you this card as a reminder to stay open to the possibility of your soulmate appearing in a form that may differ from what you expect or ever expected, or ever may expect down the road. I added those things. This is especially true if you tend to date a certain type of individual. You drew this card to help you discover your soulmate. So you might be in a deep soulmate relationship here with someone, Libra, but maybe there's someone else too on the horizon for you. And you're going to have to look at all of this from a new perspective, and someone else, possibly other people from new perspectives now. This card may signal that you've already been introduced to this person, a soulmate, but have overlooked his or her romantic potential. Take the time to get to know the various individuals you meet in your life. Even if there isn't an initial attraction, at the very least, you will learn more about yourself and make a new friend. Okay? So let's just say we're in flux here. We're deep, deep in flux. Okay, I'll just put this over here. Keep an open mind. Let's say we're deep in flux and you're having to go through, let's say, one of those most awkward months of the year where this is just how it is. It's going to change, but you're being forced to see life and love and relationships and yourself from bigger, broader perspectives. Okay, look at this. Okay, I'm going to put this back here. The Jupiter and Sagittarius energy is over here. Okay, so I think it's relating very strongly with the Page of Swords. And Jupiter and Sagittarius is all about expanding the consciousness, expanding your communications in how you see things and perceive the world. So I think that's what's going on here. I think a lot of this evolutionary change is literally designed to blow things up, and not blow things up, but transform things the way tectonic plates move over long periods of time and open you up to a much bigger perspective of life and world and love and relationship. Okay, because of that big green triangle, which is called a grand earth trine, I'm going to use nature's whispers. Earth trines are all about Earth, okay? Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. And it is Virgo season. So I'm dedicating this spread, this card, this reading for you, this card, okay, to a little message from nature, okay? So we'll see what pops up. We'll see if this, actually, I'm hoping this helps you, because this is a pretty heavy reading. So whatever comes up, I'm going to spin it out so that so we can see the bright side of this, okay? Let's have a look. Here it is. Renewal of peace. Oh, look at this. It's beautiful. Look at that. Do you see this little divine creature over here with fragile wings? Here's a frog. Here's a squirrel. Here's a little bird. Here's a little... Is that a possum? Or a raccoon? Or what is that? And there's a little vole, a little mouse. And here's a snail. Okay? They're all wondering, what's going on with you? You poor thing. You poor, poor thing. You poor thing. Poor Libra. Let me go over here. I'm going to stuff all this thing over here, and I'm going to get the book. Hold on. Actually, what I'm trying to do here is actually trigger the energy of sympathy and self-love to come forth in you, so that if you are denying or burying or suppressing your emotions and your feelings, it's time to express and let them come out. Here we go. Renewal of peace. Here, I'll just show you the card again. It is important to maintain peace. Excuse me. It is important to maintain peace with all aspects of your life. Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. Inner imbalances can often manifest in your daily life if you don't take time to take care of yourself. It doesn't matter whether or not your imbalance is a negative one. Being optimistic to the point of believing yourself to be invincible can also lead to challenges. Oh my gosh. Balance is best achieved through listening to your body. Take time for yourself. Allow your inner power to heal and return you to being peace-filled. This will assist you and make you stronger. Wow. It's time for you. It's time for us. I mean, a lot of the whole message for the whole reading here is frankly about healing and self-healing. It's just that it's a thing that most people really don't want to do. They don't like to do it. They want answers to come from without. But ultimately, all healing is self-healing. And I think the message is very strong here. Renewal of peace, but only you can do that. You have to make a decision to seek peace, to find, let's say, like a little bit of detachment. This is also the house over here of sequestration, a house of going into seclusion, the house of going into like a retreat or something. Check yourself into a clinic if you have to. Okay, Libra? Check yourself in. Do that self-healing, which nobody wants to do. They put it off and off and off and off and off and off and off as long as they can. They self-medicate if they have to. Anything to avoid genuine self-healing. It's now time for genuine self-healing. Okay, Libra, you can do it. You can do it. Let me just check out with you, okay? That is your reading. Hi, Libra. I'm just trying to help, okay? Seriously, I'm doing what I can for you. It was a hard reading for me to deliver, but someone's got to do it. I'm not pulling any punches. I'm just calling it out as it is, okay? Love thyself. Love thyself, all right, dear Libra? This too shall pass. Remember, you've got Libra season coming up, and all those lights are shining on you. Okay? Got it? See ya. Bye.